Hey, Danny Matta here, founder of PT Bizz, and I have a question for you. And it might be uncomfortable, but I think it's important for you to really think through this and do this occasionally. If you got diagnosed with a disease that was going to kill you in 3 months and there's no cure, there's nothing you can do about it, what would you regret? What would you change? What would you do differently? And I think this is an important exercise to go through. And this is something that I do on, I would say, a semi-regular basis, at least a few times a year. I really sit down and think about this. And it's something that I learned through Ryan Holiday's work, who's an author, who's written a number of different things, but someone who's been very impactful on me. And ironically, I got exposed to Ryan's work while I was actually working on a military contract. So I had gotten a contract to work at a military special operations group in North Carolina. And while I was up there, the head medic that brought me in, he said, "Hey man, have you ever heard of Ryan Holiday? He was just here yesterday." And I didn't know who he was. I'd never heard of him. But he had brought a bunch of books with him. And one of the books that they had was a book called The Obstacle is the Way, which is the first Ryan Holiday book that I read. And he's written many, many more books since then, but has been a massive influence on me. And I would say in a really positive way, probably the most impactful author on me that I've ever experienced. And he has an interesting way of weaving stories and history with Stoic philosophy, and and it's just a really, really good writer. And for some reason, it resonates with me. And in particular, the idea of using this concept of death being right around the corner as a way to stop you from living a complacent life, as a way to help you squeeze every bit of juice out of life that exists, and a way to not take things for granted, because that's what most people do. And if you look around, most people in our lives are living lives of complacency, of silent desperation, of not doing the things, not having the conversations, not experiencing the things that they're supposed to or they want to in life, because they're maybe living a life for somebody else, or they're afraid of making a change. And, for me, when I think about these things, I think about what things am I not saying to people? What things am I not doing in my own life? What people am I not impacting? What things am I not doing because of fear of whatever that might be? And it makes me rethink that. And it makes me move closer to living that life that I wouldn't regret. And between Ryan's work and a book called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, which is basically a palliative care nurse that interviewed all these people as she was taking care of them right as they were about to die, and came up with the 5 most common things that they regret. And the number one thing was not living a life true to themselves and to living a life that others expected them to live. That's the number one thing. Let that soak in for a second, because a lot of people that we work with, it's not that they picked the wrong career, and maybe they have, and they go and they do something else, but doing something that aligns with you, that aligns with the life that you want to live, with the values that you have, that creates the life that you want, doesn't become your life. And fortunately for me, I have been exposed to mentors that you live a very unique life, that experience the world in a unique way. And I got to see that as someone that was very much on a path that I thought was the right path. Let me put this in perspective, okay? When I joined the Army in 2007, I thought, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to do. My whole family, grandparents, parents, brother, brother-in-law, even my in-laws, active duty military, most of them for a career. That is what we do. Mattas go into the military. They stay for a career. It's It's the safe path. You get a pension, you get healthcare for life. You get to serve your country. You work hard, you make rank, whatever. That's what I thought. That's it. That's what I'm doing. That's exactly what I went and I did. And my goal with all of it was I wanted to be the highest ranking person in my family ever, which is when I say it out loud, is a silly goal. Who fucking cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares? But I cared because it was an achievement. And achievements are what I always got positive reinforcement from, whether it's sports or school or, whatever, military awards. It's a positive reinforcement loop that for me was something that I craved. Like, I wanted that validation. And when I, got into my military career and I was well on my way to do the same thing, the same path, when I started to get exposed to people that were living a different life than what I saw that was normal, which I grew up on military bases. That's normal for me. Hearing Black Hawk helicopters go over my head was what I listened to while I waited for the freaking bus. Like, that was normal for me. Hearing people, marching in formation and running and yelling in the mornings, like, that was normal for me. And as I started to get exposed to people that were living different types of lives, really unique lives, and were experiencing the world and were spending more time with their family, and they were able to have financial freedom and time freedom, I just was like so blown away by this other path. And it's like I'm climbing a mountain, and it's hard, and I'm making progress, but it's like I got like halfway there, and I looked around, I was like, shit, I want to go up the other mountain. Like, I didn't know that mountain was maybe more for me and aligned more with what I wanted because I just didn't know, right? I didn't know what I didn't know. And thankfully for me, I got exposed to people that really helped me view the world in a different way. You may not have that. You may not have a mentor that you see and you can use as an example of what you want to move towards, which I think is really important. And finding a mentor that aligns with what you want to do, even from afar, and seeing somebody as an example of like, yes, this seems to be the right path for me, can be very powerful. But just sitting down and thinking through this example of, what if 3 months from now, you're not here anymore? What would you regret? What would you have done differently? And instead of just thinking about that, start to make plans to take action towards doing that different thing. And for us, and I'm going to bring this back to what we help a lot of people with, it's when they make a directional change in their career, when they go out on their own, when they decide that they want to take a different path, it's very scary. It's very scary because of the unknown, right? The unknown. And the unknown is not dangerous necessarily. The unknown is scary because we're not sure what's going to happen. We're not sure if we're going to fail or succeed, or if you will have to go back to what we were doing before and it'll be embarrassing. There's like so many things that stop us from making these changes. But if you really sit down and think about, well, what if 3 months from now, I'm out of here? I don't have a choice. What would you do differently? That is a strong, strong barometer of whether you're doing the right thing or not. And as morbid as that is a strong motivator for most people to not just sit and be complacent and every week is the same and like you think about these things you want to do, but you never ever take action on them. And if that's what it takes to sit down and do this a couple times a year, I'm all for it, because the reality is we don't know. And I don't know about you, but I have friends recently that have gotten sick. They were healthy. I have friends who have passed away unexpectedly. The shit isn't a guarantee. And I think if you take the lens of that and you can apply it in a way where before something negative happens, and hopefully nothing ever does, you decide to live a life that's intentional and that you're moving towards what you want because you know that's what you want. And you've taken the time to decide what life you want, what experiences you want, what legacy you want to have, what things you want to be able to share with friends, family, whatever's important to you. And maybe it's a completely different career. Who knows? Maybe you got into physical therapy because your whole family is physical therapists. And this is what you saw as normal. It's why I went into the military. It's what I saw was normal. That was what my family did. It's why you see a whole family of dentists. Everybody's a dentist. Do you think everybody in that family actually wants to be a dentist? I bet you one of them wants to be a fucking songwriter, and they can't do it because they're too scared what their family's going to say. And that sucks, and that's sad. And for those of us that are awake enough to realize, hey, we do have agency over what we're going to do. We can make our own decisions, and we're only here for who knows how long. You better make the right decisions for what you want to do, with what aligns with you. Because if you don't, you're going to be just like those people that the palliative care nurse was interviewing. They regret living a life that wasn't in alignment with themselves, and they were living a life for somebody else. And I hate to even think about how many people are doing this on a day-to-day basis. I have friends that are doing this. I'm sure you have friends that are doing this too. Some of you are probably doing this just like I was before I decided to make a change in my career. And my life is very different now. I tell you this much. If I go back to 2007 and tell myself what I was going to be doing today, there's no way in hell I would believe it. I'd be like, "That's no chance, no way." Like, absolutely not. Am I going to be, doing what I do for a career now, living where I live, having the life that I have, which I'm very, very thankful for. But it didn't come without a lot of risk. It didn't come without a lot of changes that I had to make. And it didn't come without a lot of hard work, not just like in the physical world in terms of like what I do for a living, but on myself to get really clear on what it is that I value and be intentional about that and continue to try to, evolve and improve that. So I know that for some of you, this may be uncomfortable, but I hope that if anything, it's a bit of a wake-up message that if you're not living the life that you know deep down you should be living, whatever that is, your career, decisions you're making, where you're living, like whatever, you have an opportunity to wake up, make those changes, and as uncomfortable as they might be, it might be the most important thing you can possibly do. And if you're looking to make a change in your career to where you take ownership over your time and potentially even, time and financial freedom for those of you that can be successful doing your own thing, like we're here for you. This is what we help people with, help people achieve. And it's scary as hell. Don't get me wrong. Like I get it. And I see it every single day with people that we work with. And I'm numb to it now. It's not scary to me anymore, but it's not like I've forgotten what that felt like. And when we help people go through the same thing and they start to make a change in their life, it's so awesome to see. So if you're listening to this and you are doing something that is not in alignment with what you really want to do, man, wake up, make a change. Who knows how long we're going to be here.